Good evening, and welcome to Xbox Tavern's Xpod Tavern episode 95th. I'm Jamie, and as always, on Sunday night at 8 p.m, I'll wait for them to join. I'm joined by MPV Graham.
Hello.
Hello, MPV Graham. How are you?
Hello. I'm good. How are you?
I'm wonderful, thank you. Wonderful. Even more exciting for reasons we'll get into shortly. And we're also joined by Million Man Ian, freshly back from some sort of football game.
Hello, yes. I am a little bit tipsy, but I'll try and get through this.
Who isn't, eh? Who isn't? And speaking of tipsy, ladies' favourite Daniel.
Ladies man. Lady boy Daniel.
Hello.
Oh, see, smooth.
He's done it again.
You're going to have to mix it up next week, though, Daniel. I feel like we need some reinvention.
I'll have something in my lap.
Speaking of reinvention, just Scottish Gruff Ross.
Hello.
Hey.
How are you?
Very good.
Good. I'm glad we've got the full crew back once again on this wonderful Sunday night at 8 p.m.
Ish.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Ish.
Thanks, Ian. Just a little bit tipsy, you said.
I was swallowing my drink as I quickly say it.
All right, well, enough of that nonsense. Let's get into some news, shall we? And Ross, I feel like you're going to have to be the lead on this one because,
me?
Well, reasons.
Reason that nobody cares.
I like it wasted. I took my glasses off. Thanks.
Well, I'll lead you in. Don't worry, I'll lead you in. So CD Projekt Red is working on a new Cyberpunk sequel, a new IP, as well as a new Witcher saga, supposedly, according to some company's strategy update that took place recently on October the 4th. They said they were revealed the team is indeed working on the sequel to Cyberpunk, as well as a couple of other internal projects. One of those is the one we know about, the Witcher saga, which is supposedly 3 games in 6 years. Is that right?
Yes.
And then you've got Project Orion, which is Cyberpunk 2077, which they say will prove the full power and potential of the Cyberpunk universe and is to be developed by CD Projekt Red themselves, as well as expanding with a third IP, Project Hadar, which is developed 100% internally, IP incubation since 2021, and currently in the conceptual phase. And I like this little quote, by a small strike team. Like it's really important. We got a task force at hand to develop this new game. So Ross, I'm going to pass it over to you because you're obviously the biggest CD PR fan / Witcher / Cyberpunk person here. So tell me, what does this news do for you, sir?
So the one, and you missed one as well, Polaris is the new Witcher game. Sorry, the 4th one. No, it's just good to see that they've obviously taken the bumps that they got for Cyberpunk. Obviously, they've turned it around because it's now, the most played game on Steam the week that the Modern Warfare beta came out. So they've obviously done a fantastic job. So what happens when they bring it back in-house? So there's no sort of quality control done by, I can't remember the company that was doing it.
What are you on about? The Upspuff version?
Yeah, no, remember when the game first launched, obviously it was in a terrible disaster.
Was it Saber? Was that right?
I really hope it's not Saber because I'm playing one of their games this week and I've got nothing but good things to say about it. So
yeah, they seem because they helped on Halo and they did great work there, and then supposedly their help on things like this is not so good. But anyway, carry on.
So yeah, they brought everything back in house. They are obviously working hard on what they're going to be doing for the last wee bit of The Witcher 3. I know they've still got one set of DLCs that they want to release for the next gens, which will be whatever they decide to do for this, which will probably be some sort of 4K 120, I think, or 4K locked 60. And then onwards and upwards to a new Witcher saga. Everybody's sort of guessing that it'll be something to do with Ciri. The medallion that they showed was quite cat-like, so it could be going into the School of the Cat instead of the School of the Wolf. New Cyberpunk game, I don't know where they're going to go with that. I've not done Cyberpunk yet, so I don't know how that ended on any sort of cliffhangers or anything.
Well, I can probably interject in that. I think they did, because obviously there was like multiple endings, so it all depends. But I reckon rather than be a sequel, they might make a whole new character. They have to make something new, but in the same universe.
Yeah, have it in the same universe. Yeah. And then curious to see what this sort of standalone IP will be. You would hope they would stick to what they were good at, massive sprawling RPGs. They've sort of got the fantasy world with The Witcher covered. They've got the sci-fi world covered with Cyberpunk. So maybe something a bit more true to life.
Farming sim.
But no, it's good to see what was quite a small developer, now turning into a developer that can rock out 3-4 plus massive AAA RPGs.
And if correct me if I'm wrong, but haven't they set up a new studio in somewhere in North America to work
They've
on?
they've done something
one
to
of
do
these.
with it as well. Yeah.
So obviously they're spreading their wings out of Poland where they're based. I forget. I'll try and find it in a second. But yeah, I know I read that they set up a new studio in. I want to say LA, but that might not be right. Anyone else got any thoughts or opinions what they'd like to see from either a new Cyberpunk, Witcher, or indeed this new IP from CD Projekt Red? I don't know. I can't say their name.
I definitely, I want to see. I want to see more Cyberpunk. I love the game. It was brilliant. For me, I was lucky that I only had really 1 or 2 bugs, and that was from launch. But yeah, I think that universe was brilliant, and they could do so much more to it. And I feel like they want to do more, which is probably why they're doing a second game rather than doing it as DLC, because it's such a huge universe and such. I guess because it's brand new, they can make so much lore up that will actually be pretty damn good.
And it's a good chance to sort of reset the opinion in it rather than add to a game that's already got like a bit of a shitty opinion. Now they can, well, we got a brand new one and we fixed all the problems you complained about. Hopefully anyway. But
and it's also Boston was where they placed us.
Boston, thank you, sorry. Graham, what were you about to say? You seem to have some interest in this as well.
No, as I said, a new Cyberpunk kind of adventure would be awesome because I mean they kind of teased flying cars in it that you saw them and everything, but you never really got to experience anything like that. So I mean that a different location, but the way that it's kind of set up, it's really quite easy to just use that as a template and sort of ramp it up from there. You can probably keep it flowing quite nicely, sort of GTA style like they do, and just pick new locations and just keep the adventure going like that. But new content like that, and yeah, obviously a new Witch has been sort of longing for a while, so any new content around that side can only be good.
Yes, damn right. And Daniel, I know these probably games are a little bit long for you, but anything you've got you wanna bring to the table?
But he doesn't even put the
a
Witcher
1 hour
on.
game is probably long enough for Daniel.
Right, so what? We're 17 minutes in. You've already shot fires. Shots.
I mean, I'll be honest. They're probably a bit long for me, to be honest. But
no, they've got to. This has got to come out, and it's got to come out good. I think if it comes out in the same state that Cyberpunk was, and you have the same fiasco, then I think CD Projekt Red could be dead in the water. So I need to get on and play Cyberpunk. I think I'm on only in an hour, so I need to start again and re-go because I was quite excited about Cyberpunk. Well, yeah, finish it.
It is a pretty damn good game. Like I really like. Same thing when I got through the first couple hours, like but then scenes after that, I was like all in on it.
Yeah, I mean, seeing from what from launch, and then I turned it on. God, about a month or two ago, you could see like everything looked prettier. There was a lot more stuff on the screen, and I'm sitting there going, "Oh my god, I don't know what I'm doing." Trying to remember all the controls as well. So it is something I need to get back into. And Witcher, I mean, The Witcher's going to keep going as long as the Netflix series keeps going. I think that is going to bring in a whole new group of people to playing the Witcher series.
Long may it continue. Isn't the new season of Witcher out at some point soon?
The spin-off is on the 25th of December, and the next season is
summer, isn't it?
March of next year, I'm sure.
Okay. So yeah, and that's the one with everyone's favorite Henry Cavill, right?
Yes.
Why? Oh, why?
I thought he's done his shift. I thought he was handing it over to someone else.
Oh, really?
No.
Don't upset Ross like that, Greg. We haven't started.
I might have read it wrong. I swear I've just read it that he
wants to see his chisel's chest more and more.
Chisel's chest. Say that again without drinking.
Right. Well, all right. I think we're done with Cyberpunk and Witcher and all that stuff. So yeah, hopefully they can get a decent launch this time, unlike the previous one, as we discussed many times, as everybody's discussed. Didn't quite get it now.
As long as they go all in on this current gen, not going like trying to make it for past gen owners, that'll be fine.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, by the time they get round to it, we'll probably be looking at the next gen, not this one.
Yeah, that's probably true. Yeah, but if they're going to do that, they have to go all in on the new console rather than trying
they
to make
can't,
it good for
they
the
can't
series.
split themselves across the two again because that obviously did not work last time. But speaking of companies splitting themselves across several generations and not quite hitting their mark, Halo Infinite.
Segue. Yes.
Thanks very
We're
much.
not
Carl.
worthy.
So there's many rumors out there, according to Windows Central and a YouTuber named Sean W and AECG's Jeremy Penter, both been discussed on social media. That according to their rumor mill, the information about Halo switching to a new engine, Unreal, is certainly looking as though it could be true. So there's been Windows Central been doing some digging, and they've got some tentative indication that the changed Unreal Engine could extend across the entire future of the franchise beyond the supposed battle royale thing that's been in the works a long time, named Tatanka. So in theory, it could even spread to Halo Infinite and its multiplayer. So they're currently using the Slipspace engine, which they created for Halo Infinite, but it's supposedly been very difficult, according to people in the know. So yeah, we could move to Unreal, which obviously I think everyone and their dog uses Unreal pretty much. So do you think this could be a positive outcome for the future of Halo, Ian? I'm going to go to you because I want to see what you say.
Could it? I don't know. That's the babe. That's the honest. It's hit and miss, isn't it? Really? It's gonna be. No, I don't know.
It's content that
difficult.
Halo's lacking, isn't it? It's not.
Mm.
It's not the fact that it's buggy or.
But is it lacking that content because they can't work the Slipspace engine properly?
I suppose maybe that could be.
It's one of the things because like I say, for example, they obviously ditched the whole split screen co-op thing, but then I still saw like an article where someone had obviously managed to see the kind of change the game files and managed to make it work, and it's like, there must be a reason why. If this can obviously improve actual quality of life and gameplay and actually allow to the things they want to do, then
I think
if anything, it's a positive.
That's the general gist of it, isn't it? Like you said, they dropped co-op. They delayed Forge and co-op by like a year. They launched in not the best state. I mean, obviously it was still a great game, but they could have done so much more. Whereas if they use Unreal, it's a lot more user friendly, I think, in general, in it. Again,
definitely.
not that I make games, of course, but from considering how many people use it, it must be easy enough to use to make decent games. So, and I think even as we said before, even CD Projekt, I can't fucking say the name, are switching to Unreal for their next Witcher game from their own engine. So it must be doing something right.
Exactly, and that's if anything, it's got to be a positive. Reality, can you see it make it be a bad thing? Probably not. If it's going to make their quality of life and the things they want to do, then by all means, it should be a positive.
And Greg, do you think that? I don't suppose you touched a multiplayer recently, have you?
Not for a long time. Not on Halo. No. It didn't grab me as much.
Yeah, so if they were to perhaps reinvent the entire of Infinite with a new engine, would you be tempted to check it out, see if anything had changed, might grab your attention, like you said, a bit more?
Yeah, why not? I mean, I always did enjoy sort of the multiplayer side of it. It's just having the right team to go with. It's not something you can really sort of jump in by yourself and play teams with because you just lose interest too fast. You have to play with other people, and so if everyone else is willing to go, then I'll be happy to jump in again.
I think that's why we all fell off it quite so quick, because obviously when things like Halo 2 and 3, when me and you were playing a lot, it was easy because we were younger, we didn't have much. Now we got no real time to spend hours a night playing Halo. Just we've got too many other things to do. Too many other games to play and too many other responsibilities.
That and getting pumped by people that just know the map inside and out just becomes less fun very quickly.
Yes, like we used to do back in the day. Now we're getting schooled by the same teenagers who've got all the time in the world.
We're the ones being called cornbread.
You cornbreads indeed. Anyone else got anything to say on Halo? Possibly moving it Unreal, or should we move on?
Move on.
Cool. I like the silences. They're good for everybody. Well, hopefully Unreal will benefit Halo to a much better degree. And speaking of benefits to Xbox and things related to Xbox, Microsoft have laid out the benefits of Xbox plus Activision Blizzard on a new website. That one wasn't quite so smooth, but we're going to go with it.
Doing a good job to do segues.
Thanks very much. Thank you very much. Yes,
I'm looking forward to the next one.
They've launched a new website, which has got like I said, literally lists the benefits of Xbox plus Activision Blizzard for players, game creators, and the industry. I'm not going to read them because there's no one wants to hear me read that much. But the gist of it is, for players, more choice, more games, more options, especially with Game Pass. Creators, more ways to get games in front of people. more money and better flexibility, they say. And for the industry, more competition and greater competition, as well as emphasis on positive workplace culture, etc., etc. Has anyone had a look at the website? Anyone checked it out? Anyone got any opinions on what they list in here as the positives and why they necessarily haven't listed the things they probably should do, including the negatives?
I mean, they're never going to list any negatives, are they?
Well, no.
But is there really any negatives? Let's face it. Only if you're a PlayStation user would it be a negative.
Well, yeah, if you're a Sony shareholder, that's about it, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the only downside for pretty much everybody, or if you're Sony based, and that's it.
Yeah, it got approved, didn't it, in Brazil? But then over here in the UK, is it they're going into round 2 of negotiation or talks about whether this deal should go ahead?
And PlayStation Boy went to Brussels, am I right in saying, to try and appeal it further.
Yeah, I think there's still. I mean, I must admit, I haven't really kept up with it much lately because, as we said before, I'm getting kind of sick of it now. Just either do it or don't. Like, I don't need to hear the nitty gritty of big corporations with too much money going, oh, but I want your money. No, I want your money. No. But I think it's good that they're sort of still trying to get out in front of it and be like, you know, we're doing this for a good cause. We're not just doing this because we see green, not Xbox green, obviously, but they want to try and improve things, not just gobble them up and say, haha, this is ours now, fuck you. So hopefully they keep this positivity rolling and we get this poxy merger over and done with sooner rather than later.
It's taking too long now, isn't it?
Yeah.
You knew it was always going to be.
Again, business is going to business, as they say. I'll just read Phil Spencer's quick quote and then we'll move on. He says on the website, it says, giving players choice in how they play their games makes gaming more accessible and leads to larger, more vibrant communities of players. Choice is equally important to developers. Developers benefit from having a diversity of distribution and business models for their games. And choice unlocks opportunities for innovation and enables the industry to grow. Again, a lot of PR stuff that says, we're doing good, promise, don't be mean to us, we're doing good stuff.
I do love the little bit that they put in for benefits for the gaming industry. Greater competition in traditional gaming, where Sony and Nintendo will remain the biggest.
They're trying to butter them up. Nobody does, are they? Honestly, you're still better than us. We're just going to take this.
We're just going to have some more games. That's all.
That's all. We just want a little bit more of this. You keep doing what you're doing. You're doing a good job. Looking forward to God of War.
Did you hear on Podcast Unlocked how they mentioned? I think it was last week that potentially. So Microsoft has said you will get Call of Duty for the next 3 years, which Sony could potentially get or revitalize one of their old shooter franchises and bring it back to compete with COD if COD ever left PlayStation.
Which one would they bring back though?
Well, he reeled off a load. So there was like Killzone,
Resistance,
Killzone was good.
SOCOM.
Yeah,
SOCOM. Yeah. I would be tempted to pick up SOCOM. I did like.
So they've got loads.
What's SOCOM again?
SOCOM
kind of
like
Rainbow. Yeah, it's kind of like Rainbow Six, wasn't it? Like hardcore.
Yeah, it was a tactical shooter.
Yeah.
But instead of going, all right, we're going to compete, it's, as we've said, it's this kind of, no, you can't take this game, don't make it exclusive, even though, go back a few years, all we used to do is exclusivity.
Yeah,
it's
they're doing exactly the same
childish.
With Final Fantasy and what's that one, Forspoken, and tons of fucking Square Enix stuff, and even Call of Duty. They got exclusive betas and maps and early access and stuff, and now they're like, you can't do it, not like that.
Exactly, it's mental.
We can do it, but can you do it? No, you can't do it. Only we can do that.
I suppose we'll see. We'll see what happens come. Well, the other side of December.
Yeah. So hopefully, again, I mean, I don't see why that. As I said before, I don't see why they would have entered into this if they didn't think they could do it. So I'm sure it will go through. I'm sure it will end up being just fine. Everybody having a panic about nothing, and then we can move on with our lives and worry about more important things, like Bray Wyatt returning to WWE. Anybody? No, we'll get back into that later on. Let me in, indeed. Speaking of returns, Need for Speed is back in a new trailer, a new reveal, I should say, from EA. Need for Speed Unbound.
I hate this.
It brings stylized street racing to Xbox this December, very soon. They revealed it very, very close to launch. So, Ian, I know you were a little bit perturbed by seeing Bound. And
Yeah.
obviously Ross has just made his feelings very, very
It's
well known.
such a sad. And it's Unbound, not Underground.
So I haven't watched this trailer because I'm not interested in the slightest. But does one of you want to just give us a lowdown on what it's all about and why you're not happy about it?
Because I don't want a fucking cartoon Need for Speed.
What do you want, sir?
I want a Need for Speed that's Underground too.
Realistic, but a bit crazy at the same time.
Print fucking money. Not have fucking ASAP Rocky sitting on a fucking Mercedes thinking that's what we want to do in car racing games.
So
Fucking
can
idiots.
you enlighten us then? So obviously the trailer's playing now if you're watching on YouTube, but is this actually like it looks here, like some sort of cell shaded racer, or is this just for the trailer effect?
No, it's got this cartoon animated style with so most of the game is real type idea, but then they have got aspects of the animated side tied in with. In theory, a different genre of game, I'd be all for it, but it's not what I want in Need for Speed.
No, I agree.
That's the issue. It's they've put it on the wrong game.
So do you think this would have been better suited as a new IP, like something like what was it called, Blur back in the day that had?
Yeah.
Look, watching this, it looks very similar to that to me anyway. Not
Burnout, something like Burnout.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Burnout would have been better choice.
That would have been perfect for it. Like you imagine the big crash sequences, and then you had like the animated style to go with it on the crash sequences. That would have been brilliant, but not on fucking Need for Speed.
The thing is though, which is what sad, is like eyes look so bad, but also I kind of still want to play it.
Yeah,
more drive than I had, like for example, Payback, or was it Payback last one? I was like, I've got more of a chance. I want to play this one. Whereas like Payback, I was like, no. So
this is from Criterion, right? If I'm reading this correctly.
Yes.
Yeah. So they've obviously, as you said, Burnout creators. Also, they done the last several Need for Speeds. Is that right?
Yeah. I've heard.
It's been that long since I've played a Need for Speed because I've been so.
But I'm trying to think if there's been any of them that have been particularly well regarded since they've taken over. Obviously, they know what they're doing with racing games, but have they nailed Need for Speed so far? And why would they nail this one, perhaps?
I mean, it does look like they're going back to more of their roots with the whole kind of street racing, underground street scene. So it could be maybe like an anime version of Underground, but it's obviously how long as it plays well, I'll be all for it. So yeah,
you're just not impressed by this initial reveal.
I think I need more gameplay trailer. Like I need a proper gameplay where it shows off the actual how you're racing and the open world. Then I might be a bit more in love. Still probably got to play it.
We got less than 2 months until it's out. It's December 2nd. It says here that it's out. So we got not long to wait until to see whether it's actually any good or not. Who knows? Let's find out, shall we? In December. Graham, Daniel, anything on this? I know Graham's probably even less interested in this if we revealed a new Splinter Cell, but Daniel,
I'm not.
God, imagine Need for Speed but stealth.
Right, I'm in. You son of a bitch, I'm in. Right. Okay, right. So yeah, December 2nd, Need for Speed, what's it called? Unbound. Very exciting, obviously. We'll see whether these two change their tune in just under 2 months' time. Cool.
Probably will. We'll find out.
Yeah, we'll find out, won't we? We'll find out.
Ooh, this next one's a rough one.
Let's move on to the next. Well, this one down here. Should we do Dead Space? Everyone excited for Dead Space?
I was.
Woo!
So the new Dead Space remake, which is out in January, if I'm not mistaken, is coming to Xbox. Obviously, going to be cheaper with Game Pass because of EA Play's bundled in subscription.
Mm-hmm.
However, the base game is going to be the wonderful price that every game is now, $70. Very exciting. So everybody was giving shit to Last of Us remake recently for, you can't, it's only been 9 years. You can't do this. It's not a full price game. And now EA are doing exactly the same thing with Dead Space. I imagine the scuttlebutt has been about the same, although I haven't actually checked. But again, with EA Play via Game Pass, you get 10% off, which brings it down to $62.99, which is still fucking ridiculous if you ask me. But it does look very good. So anyone, Graham, Dead Space. I know you've been quiet for a while. I know you like a bit of Dead Space, surely the first one.
I like the first one. I got so far with the first one. I didn't think I finished it. I completely damned it, but it was all right. I didn't really touch the second or third, but yeah, I mean, if it's been revamped up for the new Series S and X, it could be a nice one to get back into and try it again. I know
It looks
I'm
a
not
hell of a lot
against
better.
it. Yeah, I didn't hate it. So,
But
I'm
would
keen to
this
give it a
price,
try.
would $62.99 float your boat, or are you going to wait for a sale, or indeed for it to come to EA Play in about a year?
No, I'll wait for the person that's more interested that I'm sharing to buy it. That I might get a taste that way.
Oh, you know me so well.
That sounds like Dan's method.
Yeah, I'm not trying to
Yeah.
cheap power like
I mean,
more than me.
I would definitely, even though it's expensive, I've got no leg to stand on because, like I said, I bought the Last of Us remake at full price and a PlayStation just to play it. So I'll probably end up buying this if we're not fortunate enough to get a review code, of course. But yeah, I'm no problem really with it as long as it's upspuffed enough and is still just as good as the original. Dan, Ross, Ian, anyone got any thoughts on paying? Probably quite an extortionate price, really, to be fair.
I mean, I'll pay it. I'm
not happy about it.
I'm a mug for paying it, but I'll pay it.
Yeah.
It is an outrageous price, especially with isn't Callisto Project out just before or just
Yeah, it's
after?
out in December.
Yeah.
So are people gonna, after Callisto Project, are they gonna be going and then well, you are, but will they pay that money again?
It depends, I suppose, doesn't it? Because there's about 2 months between them, and Callisto Project, even though it basically is Dead Space, but not, it also offers something slightly different. I was reading a preview in Edge today, which came out a couple of days ago, and they were sort of going through the differences between them. Even though, again, looking at it, it looks like Dead Space, but new setting. They've offered different combat and enemies and stuff, so it'll play ever so slightly differently to how this remake will play, which I think might be just about enough to warrant playing both of them within 2 months. But again, that's me. I'll play both of them regardless. But I'm a mug, as we've already discussed. So yeah, we'll find out. But so obviously it's expensive. Remakes tend to be obviously in line with current pricing, even though a lot of people seem to think, oh, all you've done is press file save as upres. And this one, Ian, you told me the other day, didn't you? You're supposed to be doing a one shot the whole way through.
Yeah.
Which is
that's what it is. Yeah, I've seen that as well.
No, there's no cutscenes or anything. Well, there's cutscenes, but it's obviously meant to be.
Much like God of War, the camera just follows and it just it is what it says on the tin. One shot the entire way through.
Same as God of War.
Yeah, which worked excellently there. So this should be even better because obviously the horror element, they can use that to, I'm sure, get some good scares and surprises in as the camera pans around. What's his name? Isaac. And he shits his pants as the fucking face hugger jumps and rips his head off again. Oh, looking forward to it. Anyway, you love a bit of horror, Ian, didn't you?
Yay. I'll still play it though.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I'm stuck for it. I fucking love that space universe. So, well, not 3, but 1 and 2 were good.
Yeah. We don't need to get into that debacle again. But yeah, so we'll see. Come January, I mean, they might listen to feedback. I doubt it, but they might reduce the price somewhat. But I think for what you're getting, I don't think it's the end of the world to pay the current gen prices, as with other games. Cool. So let's move on, shall we? One last quick one I wanted to get into. Overwatch 2. I don't know if any of you guys have checked it out yet. It's been out for a couple of days now. It's free to play, and some cunts on the internet decided that they were going to ruin it for everyone by DDoSing the attack, DDoSing the servers, which meant that everybody trying to jump on had no chance to play. They also had a phone number requirements. You had to put in a mobile phone so that you could. I haven't played it. I don't know how it works, but it was required. But they now removed that requirement. And our guy Babu's going to be reviewing it for us. He said that in the first 4 days he managed to play one game because of all the issues going on. They've taken servers down several times, I think, to try and amend issues and fix things. And the latest update, according to Windows Central, which was 2 days ago, says they've announced they're taking offline again on October 7th, which again was a couple of days ago. For an hour during this time, developers will complete server maintenance and implement fixes for Overwatch 2's ongoing issues. So has anyone else checked? Well, has anyone here actually played it yet? Probably
I
not. I
jumped
imagine.
in yesterday.
Oh, Daniel, tell me all about it.
Wow.
It's shite. I do not like Overwatch. Oh my goodness! So it took me. What did I have to play? You can specify a role when you're queuing. So I queued for healer, and that took me 5 minutes. It gives you it will take X amount of time to jump in.
That came across from the first one as well. That was quite a good wee system.
Yeah, see, I don't remember it from playing Overwatch 1, but then I haven't played Overwatch 1 in
They brought
ages.
it in. They brought it in
the
later.
new feature, wasn't it? Yeah, it's quite late. I don't remember that.
But anyway, yeah, so jumped in, could not remember how to do anything. It was the worst experience of my life playing as a healer. So I'm glad I'm not reviewing this.
Yeah, so I haven't played the first Overwatch, but I mean, I've no interest in playing number 2 unless we all want to jump on one night and have a game together when the issues are fixed, perhaps. But yeah,
that would be game 4.
It still sucks that people have been waiting for this for ages. Obviously, they've taken Overwatch 1 offline as they released 2, and then people were like, fuck you can't play anymore. And it's been 5 days at this point, and they're still having issues. So hopefully they can fix it for people.
Stupid, isn't it? Yeah. Absolutely stupid.
Yeah, the servers went down so many times, apparently. So
it's just, I mean, new online games tend to have issues, but this is obviously seems to be more of a targeted, like, fuck you kind of thing, rather than just too many people trying to play it at once, which there's no need for. Just be nice. Be nice to everybody. I keep saying this. Why no one listening?
Anyway. Play games. Chill out.
But I think that's all we got for the news this week, gentlemen. Unless anyone else has got anything they'd like to bring up.
Nope.
Cool. Good. Let's move on then. And Ross, I'm feeling the need.
It's your favourite part of the show.
Oh, plug away, sir. Plug me.
So, insert coin, Xbox Tavern. It's just Dan crumbling in the corner. Insert coin, Xbox Tavern 22 for £5 off orders over £50. CJ rocking an N7 beanie.
That's the one.
Alongside, there we go.
And a
and another one.
Of course.
I was going to say, no, Dan's not rocking anything this week. Poor show, Daniel. Yeah, that's not from bloody Insert Coin, though, is it?
It's not. I had to grab a t-shirt while it was dark. But
I like my t-shirt. Thanks, Dan.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm so glad you carried that round throughout all of EGX and then stole it from me.
I didn't steal it from me. It's my back.
I had to go back the following day and win a size that actually fit me.
You did your thing.
Exactly. You got one that was actually proper. Our Discord, link in the show notes, still doing our Guess the Games. Been a couple of ones recently that have been a wee bit trickier. Who was it that got what game? Was it Haven? On one slide, I think it was.
Haven?
Yeah, one slide and got Haven. I was like, holy shit, that was impressive. And then the other one was, we won't say today's one.
You're giving all the answers away.
Yeah, this was from like a few days ago. If you've not played a few days ago, tough shit. Also dropping in Game of the Years. We've got 2 channels dedicated for both of those topics. So if you want to get your answers put up on the show for your Game of the Year, drop in our Discord for that. Socials run all on the bottom of the screen. You've got our Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Only Dan's, whatever it may be, all run all on the bottom of the screen. Written reviews, you can find them at xboxtavern.com. Jay will have a list of reviews that we've got going up this week later on in the show. You can find us on all your favourite podcast apps, whether that be Spotify, Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, whatever it may be for that. If you could rate us 5 stars and leave us a wee comment, it gives us more exposure, gets us any more people's ears, and gets us to grow a bigger and better community. And last, but by certainly no means least, Patreon. If you want to support us with your hard-earned cash, jump over to patreon.com/Xbox Tavern. And as always, a special shout out to our superstar supporter, Beth. Thank you very much for your ongoing support.
Love you, Beth.
Thank you.
And I do believe Daniel's in the process of sorting out some sort of merch, because with your subscription to Patreon, after X amount of time, we will supply you with some Xbox Tavern merch.
Yes, and I haven't forgotten to do it.
In the slightest, Daniel. But no, that is Daniel, your plugs for the week. Daniel. No, Daniel, I wasn't plugging Dan this week. That was when we were in London.
Whee!
As G well and truly plugged for the show.
Thank you very much. I always feel much more satiated after a good plug-in by yourself. So thank you. Right, let's move on then, shall we? And speaking of Game of the Year, as you mentioned there, want to drop your answers in the Discord or on Twitter when we ask it, feel free. But this week we're doing Xbox Game of the Year for 2019, which is very exciting indeed, because we'll get into that just very shortly. Dan, Ian, I can see from the list that we have handily pre-prepared that you picked the same game. So would both of you like to tell us what your Game of the Year for 2019 on Xbox would be, please?
Oh, what do you want to do it on 1, 2, 3, or do you just want to kind of
say that you're wrong?
Set the scene. I mean, you're on mute, aren't you?
No,
set the scene. Okay, so let's set the scene. It's February. People feel there's no games coming out, and then all of a sudden, kapow! This online multiplayer shooter launches and drops, which is called
The Beautiful Game of Apex Legends.
Yes.
Before we get started on the game, how they done the drop for this was perfect.
Oh, super!
Yeah.
That was one of, if not the best launch to a game ever. Blather in the way, blah blah blah. Oh, and by the way, EA have a new battle royale free-player system that's got X, Y, and Z. Oh, and by the way, did we tell you it's live?
Yeah. Who was it? Ninja was streaming it, and a couple of others, and that was it. It was go time. It was launched almost
Just
there and then.
straight in there, instant hype.
Yes.
It's one of those ones that's a game that's actually changed how other battle royales play.
Oh yeah, wholeheartedly.
Like the fact that no battle royals had the ability to res and get cards for that, and then obviously now Fortnite has the same thing. Where
Even something as simple as the ping system.
Yeah, exactly. You don't have to pick in the mic. Easy ping.
Yeah, like PUBG, which is the battle royale I play the most of, never had a ping system.
No, it was all about look at the map. The number of the map.
Apex comes in, boom. There's your loot drop. There's enemy drop. There's a supply cache drop. Whatever it may be, and it's just everybody just went
system the way they've done it.
As Ian and Dan were saying, it's changed battle royales for the better because they had such an innovative system.
100%. And then to tie it all in, it's in the Titanfall universe.
Yeah, and it's got so much lore to it as well. They've added so much storylines and how the characters intertwine with each other.
I think just for that year, the way it launched, the way it played, just everything for me in that year was the best game for 2019.
It's one of the games I played so much, like so many hours. Like I would just what should I do? I'll just play Apex, and there's nothing I want to play.
Yeah, and we're talking about the ping system. You don't have to chat to your mate. All you got to do is RB, ping it, and they can go get it.
I'm so glad they brought in duos as well, because that's obviously having some late nights with me and Jay. That was good fun.
Yeah,
gives you a reason not to invite Dan.
Exactly. Well, carry Dan.
I was going to say probably late nights for Ian, because why did I ask him to play me?
It was you dropping your blooming lifeline pod all the time, and you just hear Ian go, "Don't drop it now! Don't drop it now! Don't for God's sake!"
I'll drop it when I want to, motherfucker.
It's the good thing that just gets people to come up. They're coming towards us now.
So while we're on the subject of it, favorite characters. Obviously, my personal favorite was Lifeline. Ian,
Caustic, 100%. With his jet black hair filled with cum.
Daniel,
is that in the law?
Mine was.
It wasn't like the Jay's laws.
Mine was Lifeline, and then I started playing Caustic, and kind of understanding how to use his barrels was a game changer for me.
There's my Caustics. Yeah, you're shit with Caustics. No offense.
I am crap. Yeah. Throw the barrel. Where do you want me to throw it? Over there. What?
You can block the door with the barrel? Yes, Daniel,
yeah, I didn't know. You taught me some things. But that's the first Battle Royale game I 1000 G'd and intentionally went to carry on playing with other characters so I could, complete it. And also the funniest character for me is Mirage. I love Mirage. I think it's hilarious.
I did initially start with Mirage because she's more of a stealth type character, isn't she? But I was rubbish. Oh no, who am I thinking of? Sorry, the girl with the portal.
That's Wraith.
That's Wraith.
Sorry, see, that's how long ago since I fucking played it. Ross, favorite character?
Lifeline.
Get away from my lifeline, you.
Has to be.
She's mine.
It's
the same
called Crypto second because he's
Same as my Siege character. I love playing as Doc, so Lifeline pretty much same sort of character. They basically make sure that Dan gets to the end of the map.
And Gray, I know you didn't play it so much, but did you have a character you particularly liked playing with?
Yeah, it's the one that kind of looked like a cross between Yoshimitsu and Baron Samedi with like a box and a flag on his back.
Oh, Gibraltar, the big black, that one. No.
Revenant.
Like a ninja kind of one.
Oh, Bloodhound.
It could be Bloodhound, actually.
I think
it was Bloodhound. Yeah, I can remember. Yeah, you doing the whole what do you call it? I can't remember what is effect called where you can see everyone.
See everyone. That's the one. Yeah, that's who I picked when I played.
Yeah.
Not that I was any good at it, but that's who I tended to lean towards.
I'll just follow footsteps round and round.
It's one of the games I actually got quite good at, so it was always fun when you get good at a game.
I mean,
now I try to play it.
Obviously your game of the year for 2019.
Yes.
Do you still play it now?
Yes.
What, 3 years later?
I still every now and then. I still install my Series X and S, so both are installed. Yeah, I do drop in every now and again, but again, I'm bad now, so everyone's much better, and then also I haven't got a lot of all the new characters yet. So, but yeah, I still play every now and again. Yes.
And what about yourself, Daniel?
I haven't played it for a while because I'm so bad. You definitely need to put in the hours to make sure you can hang with the big boys, and I can't do it anymore.
You should play a proper battle royale like Fortnite. You know, you don't need any skill for that.
Oh, I've been
That's
playing.
because it's filled with bots. That's why.
Exactly. Doesn't matter how long it's been. I could always win. Cool. Well, thank you very much, Apex Legends. Great game. If you haven't played it, you definitely need to check it out. I really hope that at some point they do decide to implement actual Titans, whether it be in a new game mode or a sequel or spin-off or whatever. But
I think there could be a nice like quirky mode, maybe like they do with like Halloween and stuff.
Yeah, maybe one day. Right, let's move on, shall we, Graham?
Also, before you move on,
fucking hell.
My special
honorable mentions.
Honorable mentions.
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot about that.
Wow.
You got me so excited about Apex Legends. I just wanted to barrel through and carry on. Tell me, Ian, you go first, and Daniel.
My honorable mention, I only have one this time because I want to take away anyone's time, and that's Control. Control was pretty damn good, and obviously it's from one of my favorite makers, so. And had a little bit of Alan Wake lore in it, so it made me happy as well.
Nice. Daniel?
Mine was Gears 5. I did enjoy Gears 5. I know, I'm sorry. I do enjoy Gears. I enjoyed 5. Horrible kind of...
I hated her. I really hated her. Oh.
I wasn't overly keen on her, but I think the choice...
What's her name again, Jamie?
The choice. Katie, isn't it? Kate.
Yeah.
Kate.
To make the choice near the end of the game, I quite enjoyed not making the choice, but having that kind of who do I save? But yeah, Gears 5.
Nice. Thank you very much. All good choices.
She's such a whiny bitch, though. Ain't she?
Graham, let's get back to you before we set Ian off.
You're going to get wage. Yeah. Oh, no, I'll be quiet now. Until someone mentions it again, maybe.
So,
what's your favourite game in 2019, please?
Are you sure? You're ready?
Please.
So the game I picked wasn't sort of a massive groundbreaking game, but it was still a decent, and it's from the list I've saw, it's a game that I played through and completed, and that game was Greedful. It's once again another RPG. I think it's probably about 95% of mine have all been kind of RPGs, but it's just a really bizarre, interesting kind of storyline, kind of set kind of around sort of pirate-based kind of era, and this guy loves.
I understand he's the legate of the congregate.
Wait for you to jump in with that piece. I was setting it up. But yeah, he tells everyone he's the legate of the congregate. Literally everyone he speaks to, he has to tell them exactly who he is. That bit doesn't get old. Unfortunately, there is a few bits like that when you're fighting as well. The same kind of words tend to come out, like things are going to get dicey. You love hearing that every time you get into a battle. But yeah, it's got a bit. You can mix up your parties, so it's got a bit of kind of a BioWare vibe to it as well, where you can sort of mix and match your parties to get different feels. Just kind of the story of be careful as you sort of take over new lands, because the new land will kind of fight back, and it's kind of trying to sort of protect the natives, natives against people trying to take it over and exploit it, and it's just a really good kind of fun game. The combat wasn't immensely hard; it was different, but as far as sort of RPGs go, they were a lot worse. But this one sort of was one I reviewed, and it sort of got my interest enough for me to sort of carry on and play it all the way through, and even pick up the DLC that came out for it, which wasn't massively long, but it did kind of bridge a little bit of the story and extend it that little bit more, which I kind of enjoyed as well. And so that one sort of took my game of the year. And the only other honorable mention I had was Groove. Now, that is, a game that really did sort of bring it back to the roots. It was almost like a reimagining of the first one, the very first Toe Jam. Now, if there's any kind of fans out there, that first one was groundbreaking in its time, the split screen adventure on aliens on Earth, and it was just immense fun. But my whole family enjoyed playing it. But the updated version of it made it a way more accessible online play and local play again. I think it's up to 4 players locally as well.
They added. I was going to say they added more players and new characters as well, didn't they?
Yeah, new characters in it, and a lot harder as well. But that just added to the kind of it, and it was awesome. It was great to have that kind of game back and bring it to a new audience.
Yeah, because that is as I think I sent you the link the other day. They're doing Toe Jam and Earl Back in the Groove as the Epic Game Store free game this week, I think it is, or this month.
You said on the 11th or something. Yeah, coming up.
So so if you haven't played it, I'll definitely go check that out, because that is all.
Yeah, definitely great.
A lot of good fun. Yeah, cool. So Greedful and then Toe Jam and Earl Back in the Groove, 2 good choices. I haven't touched Greedful, but didn't people? Who was it? Spiders, is that right?
I think so. Yeah.
When someone reviewed, was it you? The recent games Solstice, Ian. It was you, wasn't it?
Yes.
Who reviewed their new game Solstice. So they're still going. That was not quite as good, I don't think. Didn't quite hit the mark as well.
It
as
had its pros and cons, but it didn't quite hit my full love. Let's just say.
Yeah. Well, again, Greedful's still out there. It wasn't Game Pass for a while, I think, but it's not anymore. So go check it out. Ross.
Yes.
I'm not interested in what you've got to say, so I'm going to go. No, carry on.
I've got a lot to say, but I won't.
Dan's already touched on my game of the year for 2019, so I will jump in with everybody's favourite characters. Mine was Gears of War 5. Played through as co-op. Never done a Gears of War game that have been single player, but the co-op aspect of it was fantastic. Yeah, characters maybe not quite as strong as the original trilogy. Kate does get a wee bit fucking annoying.
I liked her. Ian's mean.
She was not bad.
Oh, I can't sleep. Close your eyes, then, you bitch.
Oh, jeez.
Harsh much. No, good story. Obviously, waiting to see what happens sort of with Kate's backstory and how it sort of affects her going forward in the 6. The choice at the end obviously was quite sort of depends how you played it. I mean, there was obviously a straightforward, obvious choice, but if you've played through as the other character, then it makes that choice a wee bit more difficult. So, no, beautiful looking game. Enjoyed the multiplayer aspect of it, the co-op side. Obviously, Horde's just synonymous with Gears and everything that comes with that. Only thing I would have said was obviously they tried to do the open world aspect of it. That was a bit of a failure to me.
There was no need.
I know what you mean, because it's quite barren. It was just more like traveling to one area and then you're just traveling to one area for ages. You don't need that.
No, I mean you could see like when you were traveling from point A to B, there was like sort of small areas that you knew you could go and like explore and maybe find like a collectible or something along those lines. But at the same time, they didn't need to throw that in. They could have just built the actual map better to add those collectibles in if they wanted to do it.
Yeah, or
So
just have a linear levels with
Yeah.
the fucking collectibles in them. There's no.
Yeah,
there's
that's
no
what I mean.
need for
And
the
like
other one.
have
That's
the traditional linear level, maybe build it a bit bigger, a bit better, so that you can
Yeah,
add in
okay, yeah.
the more collectibles that you need. But I like they tried to do something different. Can't fault them for trying to be like innovative, but it didn't work. They didn't need to do open world type ideas. But even saying that was still, to me, quite a bit ahead of every other game that came out in 2019.
Did you play the Hive Busters as well? That deal was the DLC.
Yeah, the 3-person mode, sort of like Extraction.
Oh yeah, was that any good? Or I don't know. I never got to play that.
It was pretty good. Yeah, it was a good idea. It was like a mixture of like a horde mode, we obviously like trying to get like swarmed at the same time as you're trying to escape. It was again them trying to do something different with gears. So really, I liked most of the things that they tried to do with it. But like I say, the only thing I would probably take a mark off it for was they don't need to try and make open world parts of it.
Yeah. I
think
do
that's
want to
fair
try
enough.
the Hive Busters actually. To be fair.
Yeah, the actual Hive Busters DLC, which was free on Game Pass when it first came out, fucking brilliant. That's exactly what I think. Did I speak about it with you guys? Maybe it was on when I spoke to the Game Site Chronicles guy the other week. We talked about it, and we were like, it's like 3 hours, maybe 4 at a push, but it's just like set piece after set piece after set piece.
Yeah.
But as Gears does it, so massive explosions and huge fucking enemies and lots of very visual like effects and spectacle. But it's also really great fun to play. The only thing is you don't play as obviously Marcus or Kate or
I mean, that's
Bear,
a good
whoever. Yeah, but yeah, no, really good. If hopefully everybody redeemed it when it was free, and if not, I think it's fairly cheap. But yeah, really good
I think
deal.
I've redeemed it, so we should give it a go. One.
Yeah, I'm up for playing for it again. I think I played it on my own, and yeah, fucking brilliant. It
I
was.
refuse to play Gears on my own, so.
Yeah,
Then again, I played with you. I'm not sure if that's much punishment as well.
I don't think I'd ever play Gears solo, to be fair.
Well, as it's 3-player, because I believe the single player, the main campaign is 2-player and someone plays as Jack, right?
Yeah, you
So
can't
the
add
robot
Jack
guy.
in there.
Yeah, whereas like Gears 3 was 4-player, which would have been fucking brilliant to get together and have a laugh playing. But yeah, no, we definitely should play some Hive Busters. I'm up for that at some point. Honourable mentions, please, sir.
So I'll leave the last one there because you can touch on that one, Jay, and I'll jump in when you say it. Borderlands 3 is not the best one in the series. 2 will probably never be beaten just because of Handsome Jack. But no, really good game. I've done a lot of things better than 2, better than pre-sequel, better than 1. Was let down by story. The characters that they obviously brought in as their big bads were terrible. The end game was brilliant with so much to do once you actually completed the main story. The only issue that I had with sort of doing the end game was you had to complete the game every time you wanted to get to the end game, which is a bit shit. They basically done it so that if you wanted to get to the hardest difficulty in 2, once you complete the game, you could go up the difficulty levels depending on how you wanted to do it. They need to look at that for when they're doing Borderlands 4, have a more efficient way of playing just end game once you've completed the main one, even if it means that once you've completed the main game, you unlock end game mode, so your character's max level, and you can just jump in and do whatever you want to do from there. But still a solid game. I've put ridiculous amount of hours into it. I've probably 2 or 3 playthroughs in every character. Just doing different types of playthroughs, whether it be like Allegiance runs or One Lifes. Just the good thing about Borderlands games is they give you so many different types of ways to play through it. Not everything is dictated by just having sort of the best gun. 2 kind of was. 3's not so much. So there's a lot of replayability in it, which is probably why I've rocked up about 1,000 hours in that game, which is worrying.
Jesus Christ. I don't think I've ever played the total amount of games I've ever played is reaching 1,000 hours. Not strictly true, but yeah. Nice. Okay, so yeah, Gears 5, fucking good choice. Borderlands, I've got nothing to say on that because I don't play it. However, now it's time for the only correct answer. I'm very sorry that you've all disappointed me so much. And indeed our audience. I'm so sorry. I'm going to give my honourable mentions first because, build some suspense. Man of Medan, which is one you alluded to, Ross.
Yep.
The first entry into the Dark Pictures series. Fucking brilliant. Just recently had an update for Series X and S with a new chapter, which I've yet to play. Ian, did you get to play it this week at all?
I heard a couple of chapters, but nothing like towards
you
the
haven't
new
reached
stuff.
the new stuff yet. Okay.
No.
Yeah, so I still need to find time. I don't think I'm going to have a chance until the end of the year, to be honest, but I'm going to give it a go at some point. Gears 5, obviously. Trine 4. I don't know if any of you guys ever played the Trine series before. They're fantastic. Yeah, I think we played a little bit, did we?
We did play a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, so they're fantastic, like 2D physics-based puzzle platformers. I love all of them, but 4 was fucking excellent. Halo Master Chief Collection, obviously, it had its issues at launch, but it was still a solid collection of all the great Halo games and multiplayer together. A game called The Occupation, which was a first-person, almost not quite stealth game, but like you had to sneak around and find clues and objectives in order to interrogate people at the end of a level. And I could spend quite a long time talking about it, but it was just really good and really a different approach to things. It wasn't about combat. It wasn't about trying to kill anyone. It was just almost like an investigation game. And then at the end, you get to ask questions based on what you found in whatever set time limit. Really, really interesting. Very good.
That sounds fucking fantastic. Have I not heard of it?
It really is, Ian. I think you'd love it. It really is. It's so good. It's quite hard. I didn't do very well when I went through it, but it's really, very good.
I like it hard.
Oh yes, Metro Exodus, fantastic shooter. This one, I think, probably the best in the series so far. One quick shout out for well, yeah. I mean, I really enjoyed. What's the first one? 2033, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Last Light was awesome.
I think Last Light is much better than Exodus.
I think Exodus was great just because it expanded like the open world, whereas Gears 5 did a shit job of doing open world. I think Exodus did a great job.
Yeah, I know what you mean, but then also without open worldness, there wasn't really much. It was more like just areas which are open world. Like you go to an area, then it's open world, but then when you leave that area, it's like you can't go back to that area.
Yeah, true, and it was like small contained places, but I fucking love the Metro series, and I'll play them all day long. One very quick shout for an alternate platform because I can't not mention it. Shenmue 3 on PS4.
Of course.
My goodness.
Traitor. Kick him off.
I always said it was the only game I'd ever kickstart. If they kickstarted Shenmue 3, I would do it. And then they did it, and so I did it, and I got it, and it's amazing. I mean, I can understand why people would not like it because on the face of it, it's not actually a very good game. But for me, I thought it was fucking brilliant. I loved it from start to finish. And yeah, definitely play that if you're not averse to slightly wonky, slightly shit games. It's a good game. But the real answer, of course, we're getting into it now. I've waffled on for too long already, as usual. Is Resident Evil 2 remake. I won't go on too long because I've talked about it far too many times on this podcast. But it's exactly how a remake should be. Sorry, it took what was already a fantastic game on the PlayStation and just brought it into the modern day in a way that just I can't describe it other than anything other than fucking perfect. It kept the horror. It made the visuals look fucking lovely. Why is there no trailer playing? Give me more.
Because we want you to hurry up and shut up about it.
I was waiting to watch it so I can just enjoy it again. I like I said, I love the original, and the remake just took everything great about it and just made it even better. It's tremendous from start to finish.
That's the one with Mr.
Leon,
T chasing you.
With Claire, the one with Mr. T chasing you. He's awesome. Like the way they implemented him stomping around the police station, chasing after you. And then obviously as you get further into the labs and stuff, it gets crazy. And like the A/B scenario, although it's not quite as good as the original because they don't quite vary as much, they still, because of the way they remade the game, it's just fucking brilliant, left, right, and center. And it's scary. It looks great. It plays great. It sounds great. And again, I've got no other words right now. It's just fucking brilliant. And they recently did a Series X and S patch. I haven't had a chance to go back to check it out since, but I definitely am up for playing some more before Resident Evil 4 remake comes out next year, just so I can get back into the Resident Evil mindset. But I won't go on about Resident Evil too much more because obviously I was a will all night. We're going to get into some community answers now. And we've got a few
What did they say?
multi-platform answers, should we say, which I'll allow because, again, why not, eh? They've at least
And
took
you
the
had
time
one,
to
so
answer,
you know.
and I had one. So, so Risky the Kid, thank you very much, Risky the Kid. He says, Fire Emblem Three Houses, which was on the Switch. Is that right? I think.
Yep, that's correct.
I don't know what that acronym is for, and control. He says, but can anyone help me out with?
What acronym?
HMSWJFO.
I feel like I should know what it is, but I don't know what it is.
Her
I'm sorry, Risky.
Majesty's.
I've let you know. Anyway, moving to Kaninch. He also says there's only one correct answer, but however, he shows the
Star
wrong
Wars
answer.
Jedi Fallen Order.
Oh, yes. Thank you.
Don't know what HM is though. Hitman.
And
Hitman?
oh yeah.
No, Hitman wasn't that yet.
No.
Right.
So Kaninch says, as Jamie alluded to, there's only one correct answer. However, he's picked the wrong answer. Final Fantasy 8 remastered for PC and Xbox and Switch and everything else. And they also go for Mortal Kombat 11, Kingdom Hearts 3, and Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney trilogy. Again on the Switch.
Yeah.
So some good games that year. I think it's going to be tough to beat this year for like the next couple of years, of course, because Resident Evil 2 is just fucking awesome, obviously. But that's here nor there. Should we get into games we have been playing this week, though, gentlemen?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Woo-woo.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
right. I'm very excited to look at this list because I've not prepared myself. Jesus fucking Christ. Ian, you
Hello.
you go first, please, because I'd like to understand what you've been playing in the world of Warcraft.
Exactly. What have I been doing? So I don't know why I decided to go back to it. Well, actually, I do know why, because obviously the new expansion pack comes out next month called Dragonflight. So I kind of want to be a bit more prepared for it. So I decided, and then let's just be subscribing, see what's all about. Also, I like to want to actually do the raids. So like, because there's the new raid that's come out, we came out like a couple months ago. I actually want to do it before the new expansion, so I actually get to enjoy it properly, rather than just like being over leveled and just go for it on my own or with a couple of people. So yeah, I decided to go back to it. I've also really got into PvP mode as well. Like surprisingly, I didn't think before I never really touched much of it. But this time I'm actually doing more PvP than PvE.
Okay.
So yeah, I decided that, and so I'm just gearing up, getting ready for the joys of the new expansion pack. Really, 'cause that's what I kind of want. That would be my life once that new expansion comes out.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
So-
And how long do you reckon that expansion will last you? A couple of weeks, a month or two?
Now,
An hour?
Oh, yeah, probably get to max level and that's it. Then done, and then unsubscribe. No. Again, I'll probably still play a couple of months. Obviously, I like getting to max level and seeing what the story is. They've for the new expansion as well. Obviously, they've got a new race and a new class, which is Evoker, I want to say. But again, yeah, I don't think I'll do it. I think I'll stick with my beautiful human mage called Lavitz, and he will always be my bae, and I'll never
Fair
change.
enough. Nice.
That's fair. So yeah, I've been just plodding on that. Like it's one of those things where I need to play stuff. I need to play an Xbox game. I need to do something else. Like, oh, but World of Warcraft is there. It's like we went to write a review. It's like, oh, but World of Warcraft's on this PC as well. Let's do.
Soon it could be an Xbox game. Eh?
Let's do an hour, then I do something else, and next thing I know, it's like 4 hours later. I'm like, oh, better go to bed. So
Nice.
it's,
Well,
one of those games that can always push me in.
We could find it perhaps in Game Pass or PC at some point in the near future. You never know.
That would be beautiful.
Oh.
Give me some achievements. They got built-in achievements already, but I'll take more.
Achievos, get free DLC, including Game Pass, get perks, or just imagine, eh? Just imagine.
Cosmetics, all of it. Oh yeah,
the grinding. Ooh.
yeah. That's one thing I did for that. Got to grind for this item now, but then it's like, oh. But I think I kind of enjoy the grind a bit because obviously it's all new for me again now. So I'm actually kind of enjoying like learning all the new grinding mechanics and stuff and wasting my gold. But then I go over 500,000 gold, so I can survive for a while.
All right, Rich Kid. Right. Thanks. Thank you very much. Daniel, let's go to you next, please, because I want to hear about a game you finished first.
What?
Okay,
Oh, back up. Did you say Dan came
I know.
finished?
I thought
Sorry,
I'd
Like a
catch your
party
attention.
popper every time he does this.
Breaker.
Come on. I finished as Dusk's Falls. No, as Dusk Falls.
So you finished it, you just don't know the name of it.
Yeah,
Sorted. Top
excellent.
job, Dan.
Right, so I had finished it. I finished it last night. I was surprised at the ending
Quick,
I
Dan,
got.
when did you start it?
That is
6
not
months
the
ago.
point. That is not the point. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah, so finished it. I was very surprised at the ending I got. Looking through, I've mentioned this before, as you go through, and as you well know, Jay, as you're going through kind of the your choices, and then at the end of the chapter, it gives you like the path tree. I am absolutely amazed at how many choices and how you know your tree could take you from one way to the other.
Yeah.
I might as well say my ending because I don't think it matters too much. So I got all the way through, and my grandfather died. My mother died. I went to meet one of my kidnappers. Just the whole thing blows my mind. I'd like to play it again. Probably take me another 6 months, but just to see.
If I'm not shit.
Well, not if I'm not shit, but just to see the kind of the other choices that pop up and see what happens, because there are some like major pivot points of like you can get your wife shot and killed, you can save your daughter, you can save your wife, you can get your wife to leave when you're getting kidnapped. There's so many like little bits that you're like, oh, if I would have picked that, would she have stayed alive? Or what would have happened to my daughter if she stayed in the room and I didn't send her out to the sheriff? It's just the amount of choice.
The crazy, like you said, like what you just explained there, none of that happened in my game. And what Graham said, what Ian said, what special guest Peter said, have all been completely different, as well as knowing that, like when I looked at the tree, like you said, I can sort of see where their outcome and your outcome and that might come in.
Yeah.
But there's still like a dozen other options where like, well, how do you get to there? How do you do this?
Yeah.
What happened?
And some of them are
like,
blanked out as well,
aren't
they? So if you don't potentially in Act 1, if you don't do outcome whichever, you won't. Whose computer went nuts there?
Yeah. It's not just per chapter, is it? It's from chapter 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 to 6.
Yeah. It's it's absolutely crazy how that happens. So I'm really impressed. I wasn't keen on the way the game looks, kind of visually. It grew on me as I kept on playing, but as the story is just by far brilliant. Really good.
Yeah, I found it captivated me from start to finish. A lot of people, obviously, I did my review of 10 out of 10 as far as I'm concerned. A lot of people are, I can't believe you give it 10 out of 10. It's not like, but I think I utterly enjoyed it from start to finish. I'm going to read out the comment. Sorry, Man with a Plan says he's super proud of you, Dan, that you finally finished the game.
Oh, thank you.
I will. So did you?
I will take that.
We all are proud.
We are proud.
You've done well, Daniel. You've made all of us proud. So, do you think you'll? As you said, you want to play through it again. Are you looking to try and save anyone in particular, without spoiling it, obviously, or are you just going to play it and just try different options to see what happens?
Try different options. I would like to see, because obviously there must be like a bare bones storyline from A to B of what happens, and I'd like to see if that person was meant to, if that story follows that person all the way through.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's tricky to talk about spoiling it because
I know what
you can say so many like details. Like, well, if I say this, then they're going to know that this happened to this person.
Well, precisely. And I want to keep it as spoiler free as humanly possible, but in the same respect, it's like you need to. I don't know. You have to play it. Like, forget the art style. You can play it on cloud as well, which I personally think is a better experience.
And with touch controls.
So you can
literally just touch the options rather than.
I didn't know you could do that.
It's not touch like controls like a control pad. It literally is. You can touch the options you want to pick, which is good. I think the first one to do it as well.
Oh, nice! I didn't know that.
But also it makes some of it a little bit easier. So like the swipes and the turn on the when you do it on the console with the controller, you can mistime the, because you've got 360-degree kind of turns, you can mess that up. On the phone, it's so much easier. So much easier.
Yeah, but yeah, fucking great game. Like I said, in my running for GOTY of 2022, which we'll get to later in the year, obviously.
So, Dan, did you play with touch on the actual console?
I did both. I played with touch and on console, so I kind of flitted between the two. So when I went to visit my mum, I'd play it on my phone. When I had time, I would try and play it on my phone. And then last night, it was a case of, do you know what? I need to kind of push through and complete a game, and I did.
Nice, well done, sir.
Tears
Well
in my eyes.
Well done.
I'm
give you a little golf clap for you.
I'm so proud of him.
My adoring fans.
Well, speaking of other games you've been playing, though, Daniel.
Yes.
What else is on the docket?
So I played a little game and reviewed Serial Cleaners, a prequel, no, a follow-on from Serial Cleaners. So it's an isometric view. Essentially, you are a cleaner, and when I say cleaner, you work for the mob. So you are the essentially the fixer in most places. You clean up their hits.
Yes, like a vacuum cleaner and stuff.
It's so funny, yeah. So,
yeah, I did the first one. I absolutely loved it. I didn't realize.
Yeah, this has come up. This is not from the same guys who did the first one. The graphics are better, in my opinion. It was 2D, the original one, wasn't it?
Yeah, I've got it on my Switch ready to play some more when we go on holiday soon.
Yeah, but it's comical. You've got 4 characters or 4 cleaners, and they reminisce about their best clean, their quickest clean, their first clean. And you're essentially, it's kind of like an element of, I hate to say the word, stealth, but it's essentially not. You're evading the police, cleaning the blood, you're disposing of the body in the back of your car, hiding evidence. Some evidence you can carry on you, other evidence, for instance, a shotgun, takes both of your hands, so you need to dispose of that weapon before you can dispose of a body. Each specific character has a certain trait. One can climb walls or climb over fences. Another one, which is superb, his name's Psycho, you literally chainsaw the body. And then after you chainsaw the body, you dispose of it into a wood chipper. Brilliant. Oh, no. However, it makes more blood, so you'll clean up that blood. Yeah, I had fun with it. I enjoyed it. The humor's good. The art style's cool. It's got that kind of 90s New York theme vibe, which it's set in. It's just cool, there's not much more I can say about it. A bit frustrating when you have to watch how the police officers kind of do their circuit or their laps. That can be frustrating, but then you can set off a car alarm, which will then take him out of his normal circular pattern. Just it's worth a play. It definitely is worth a play.
Yeah, it looks decent. It looks more interesting than the first one, I think. I sort of bounced off it originally when I played it. I'm going to play it again, but I think this would float my boat that bit much more, I think.
Yeah, it would. I hate to say it's probably a Switch game more than it is a game on the Xbox. It has that kind of Switch vibe. But yeah, it is funny. It's definitely worth a play.
Yeah, so your review will be up shortly, I believe.
Oh, shortly today or shortly tomorrow?
Not today. In the next couple of days, I think. Okay. We've got a few other things lined up. But yeah, thank you very much for that. Look out for Daniel's full thoughts and verdict in the next couple of days on youtube.com/Xbox Tavern visual and xboxtavern.com.
Yay.
Nice. All right, Graham, Ross. I was trying to put it off, but let's do it, shall we?
May as well just rip the band-aid off. Get it over and done with. It'll be quick.
Graham, I understand you at least have a bit of a story, so tell me all about your time this week with FIFA 23, please.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a almost a horror story, but thanks to a little bit of my background, I was somewhat protected. But as of Monday, I think it was, or Monday or Tuesday, my actual account got hacked for FIFA 23. It seems I left my EA account probably a bit too exposed because I didn't have multi-factor authentication on it, but yeah, woke up to an email to say that someone from Tunisia managed to log into my account at sort of the early hours of the morning. I thought that was kind of strange, and somehow they managed to authenticate themselves. And then when I opened up the app to log in, found out that all my team had, well, about 90% of my team had been sold off, and all the money had been emptied out of my account. And so, yeah, that was a bit of a blow. And so went on a bit of a mission of panic of how did they get in, passwords exposed, change a lot of passwords, etc. Turn on the multi-factor authentication to prevent anything like that in the first place. A rookie mistake, but if you don't, I advise doing that to your EA account anyway, just to make sure you don't get hacked that way. But yeah, for
Did you get your stuff
a positive
back?
outcome, I didn't get my stuff back, but EA for the first time actually came through. I sort of I spoke to an EA agent on the call. I sort of mentioned them on Twitter, and they told me to sort of try the link, and it took me to a place where I could call an agent. And yeah, they kind of went through and just sort of asked what kind of happened. I went through this scenario, and basically they started saying, you know, did you have any coins? How much did you lose? And I said I'd lost kind of players. They didn't quick sell them. They kind of flat out kind of sold them, so I couldn't like use quick sell recovery to get them back. And basically, unfortunately, the guy tried to get me to reel off the name by name. I was reeling off. So I said like Harry Kane. It sounded so weird saying, yeah, I lost him. I lost Hugo Lloris. I lost Almeric Laporte. And he's like, can you spell that? I was like, oh god, that guy's name's weird. Okay, I'm gonna have to look that up. Sort of had to sort of write that out. And then I was like, and you said he quick sold a lot of them. I was like, yeah, a lot of players. Can you tell me some of their names? I was like, Ivan Perisic. Can you spell that? I was like, okay.
Oh, fuck.
She was just basically saying that, yeah, I had the whole Tottenham team. Can you just reimburse me for them?
So what did they do in the end?
So I just said I took a video of all the players that are in my quick sell thing. There's so many, I can't reel them all off. He said, if you're happy to sort of sign an agreement that, you know, or agree over the phone that they can investigate the account, then they'll see what they can do. They sort of put 200,000 coins in my account, which was plenty to sort of rebuy the players I lost.
Oh, nice.
And yeah, so brought me back into a good stead anyway. It was kind of deflating for a while, but that kind of brought me back into a level playing field of where everyone else was. It's almost like starting from square one again. But
take a lesson from this, kids. 2-factor, 3-factor, whatever it may be. Protect your account.
3
Multi-factor authentication.
Multi-factor, very important. So 2-factor is just, as you sign in, you have to authenticate.
Yeah, everything should have multi-factor these days.
Just make sure you do it. But unfortunate, but luckily there was a relatively happy ending at the end of it.
And we all have
That's
a good
a good
happy
job
ending.
as
How
well.
about the actual game then?
Let's say that.
Yeah. So it's good because otherwise it would have killed my kind of enthusiasm for the game, but it hasn't. And yeah, I've been doing pretty well since. I've been rinsing a lot of the objectives and smashing people on the game and doing pretty well. Still enjoying it. And yeah, the vibe feels like it's changed a little bit again. Sort of where crosses were superpower before, it seems that either people just wisened up onto it, but they seem to have stopped as much. And yeah, I think the game's starting to sort of settle into its mold a bit more, and it's still all good. I still need to experience some of the other areas other than kind of Ultimate Team, but as with always each year, sort of FIFA does occupy a lot of my time when it first comes out because it's just good fun. But
nice. And have you and Ross and that been like playing together or playing against each other or whatever?
Not yet. We've sort of set up Ross set up a pro club which we've joined. We haven't had our first game yet, but me and Dan had a little quick dabble yesterday trying to help each other get objectives, which was entertaining.
I don't know what you mean.
Yeah, you're supposed to move the goalie out the way so the other one can score certain types of goals to help sort of cheese the objectives. And
does Dad not know how to move the goal?
Nope.
I did tell him how to do it. And
Hold the right stick in, Dan.
Right, so I did that. Tried to move them out of the way. Essentially,
move them right in the way.
Yeah. I mean, Graham helped me out really quickly. We done that in about 2.5 seconds. When it was on the other way round, unfortunately, we
3
spent
hours
about,
later.
yeah, but we almost played a whole match. Yeah, my bad.
All you had to do is literally score a goal and it kept sort of tackling my goalie and either kicking it straight into the net or you missed the open goal.
Oh yeah, that was one as well. Jesus, I am not worth. Don't do objectives with me. If you're trying to cheese stuff, I am not the person at all. Oh,
But yeah,
FIFA.
it was good. But there's going to come to a time where we will sort of play a game together like that. And yeah,
well, we still got our 3-on-2 at some point. Me and Ian against you.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Not this
Going
week.
down.
But when I'm back from holiday.
Statistically, 2 people are better than 3.
Statistically, yes.
I mean, that didn't work out for us last time, and I don't think it's going to work out for us this time. But we'll see. We'll see. So other than FIFA, obviously, what else have you been playing, Graham?
So I picked up. I was on an hour about whether to pick it up, and I plumped for it. I took the game Pathfinder from the queue list. This is the sequel to the one I reviewed before. It's called Pathfinder: Wrath of the Right. Yeah, it's just as good as the first one. It's not a series kind of game. I think it's still original kind of Xbox One game, but I mean the graphics still look pretty decent. The story is just it's mind blowing. The amount of kind of lore and stuff that's kind of in this. Sort of, you probably really do have to be sort of deep into the Pathfinder to understand all of it. You can understand enough of it jumping in, but I mean, it's one of those where the character creation can almost take you the whole day before you even play the game. There's so many options that you can go from, hybrid races, backgrounds, and then even when you pick what bloody species or gender or thing you want to be, there's classes, and there's tons of classes. There's literally about 20 odd classes, and then once you pick your classes, there's a variety of different skills you can pick, and it just goes crazy. But I mean, the fact is, it's just options. You can either just sort of go your way through it and just try and pick some sort of blunt force, a tank, attack here, or a mage, or some sort of rogue, or you can see the main kind of basic ones, or you can sort of go for sort of the more trickier kind of setups. But you always have like a party of a maximum of kind of 6 that you roll with, and they chop and change. Some, depending on the difficulty, you can turn it on if they die or not. And so if they die, you just have to find yourself a new kind of partner or pay a certain vendor to sort of hire new partners. But I mean, yeah, and just the story in this is just immense. It's so deep. If you really want to sort of jump into a sort of a hardcore kind of RPG kind of game, this is kind of taken up the mantle of where sort of Baldur's Gate and those kind of games had. It's the same sort of isometric style, same sort of gameplay, and you can either play it as turn-based or you can play it real time. And you can sort of turn the difficulty way down if like the whole dice rolling is how you hit, how you strike, and sort of play like you can have like a whole hotbar like you've got on a PC that you can do different actions. You can only perform certain spells so many times a day before you rest. It's just very, very, very deep. So if this is your kind of game, you're into your sort of Dungeons and Dragons, you want to play it legit how they play it, you can really sort of like zoom in and do it in a real focus kind of way. Otherwise, you can just sort of, if you're just a tiny bit more casual, you can sort of take it a bit easier and just play through for the story and mix up your characters every now and then and just enjoy it like you would those kind of games, which I like to do. And they generally are massive. There's so much kind of content to them. And like I said, the story's always pretty decent when it comes to these kind of games. So
not
enjoying
one
it
to
so
jump
far.
in too lightly.
No, it's one where if you don't sort of play it consistently in and out through the thing, you can very, very easily lose the thread.
Yeah.
But if you're in it and you're deep in it, then there's nothing you will enjoy it if you kind of sort of immerse yourself into it.
Nice. So we'll look forward to your opinions very shortly on Xbox.com, I hope.
Yes.
Ross, I'm going to jump in very quickly because you've got a couple of games I want to hear about, but I want to just get this out of the way while I'm still half awake. It's been a long day. I'm very sorry. So I've been playing No More Heroes 3 this week, and my goodness, is it fucking brilliant! I love it. Has anyone else ever
Are you
played No
sure?
More Heroes before?
No, not properly.
No.
Good, a resounding success. So this is you basically play as Travis Touchdown, who's an assassin who is obsessed with like Japanese anime and gaming and all sorts of Japanese culture stuff, and it's incredibly weird. It's almost like what's the fucking program I'm thinking of? I can't think of the name now, but the story is interesting but bizarre at the same time. Like if it's like a traditional anime, I guess. Like it doesn't really make much sense in the moment, but it all sort of ties together at the end. But the actual gameplay is like a hack and slash type game where you're thrust into little arenas where you battle 3 or 4 enemies at once, and then you move on to another arena, and it's just hectic action that is not necessarily hard, but it's like full on. Like you don't really have much of a chance to stop and take a breath or chill out for a moment. It's just like once you're fighting. That's it. And as you can see from the trailer, if you're watching, the scenarios you're thrust into are just ever fucking madder. Like you start off and you're fighting maybe 3 or 4 like robots or something, and then once you get onto later game, you're fighting a massive space alien in space with a giant fucking what's the fucking Gundam robot type thing, and it's just insane, and it's such good fun. It doesn't take itself seriously at all. It's all tongue-in-cheek nonsense where they're talking about fucking like anime films or, like I said, games or TV or all sorts of shit, and then it will be interspersed with him chopping the head off someone and like holding it up and having a conversation with it or something. It's really, really weird, but I love it. I think it's fucking brilliant. I really love the first 2 games, and this is the first time it's come to Xbox, and it's out, I think, in a couple of days as of recording. If you enjoy just mad shit as well as good combat, highly recommend it. It's got great. It uses wrestling moves as well. So when you
That's why you love it.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. When you stun someone, you can perform a wrestling move on them, or you can perform like a slow attack, a slow down time, or a drop kick, or throw them with like telekinesis, or it's just mental, absolutely mental. It's nowhere near as hard as some like Souls games or some shit like that, but it's just brilliant. I can't exude its benefits enough. I love it. I think it's brilliant. And if you're up for something that's just mad, and it only took about 12 hours to get through, yes, it's just tremendous from start to finish. The only thing I'm not a big fan of is the side mission. So the whole idea is, as I said, you're Travis. He's an assassin. He's trying to work his way up assassination rankings. So it's the top 10. So you have to kill the 10 assassins in order to become number 1. But in order to enter those fights, you have to earn money, which involves doing like odd jobs like gardening or collecting rubbish or fucking mining for ore or something. And those parts are not quite so fun because they're very repetitive and monotonous. But it's worth doing them so that you can then get into the actual fights themselves, which are just insane. And I love it. And I think it's fucking brilliant. And I think everybody should play it. And my review will be up tomorrow. I think I'm going to put it up. So yeah, go check it out. Thank you very much. Other than that, I've not had any time to play anything at all because that's all I've been playing. So Ross, tell me, video games.
So, bit of FIFA, same as Gray, Ultimate Team grind, setting up the new Pro Club for the Xbox Tavern. So that is now live with lovely green, white, and black strips. Which
is that something that anybody can join, or do you have to be invited?
So you can set it up as friends only, but the team's currently set up as open invitation. So you just have to go on to Pro Clubs. Once you've created your Pro, it'll give you the option of like create a club or join a club. Jump on to join a club, Xbox Tavern, and then that will get you into the team. It's not I think the only limitations that I've put on it is basically being from like UK and that sort of Northern Europe type idea, just for like time zones and stuff like that. So, but no, that's us. We've got a Pro Club set up for that, so that'll be, I'm sure, some hilarious moments coming from that. And as same as Gray jumping in with the ultimate team grind, rivals, squad battles, moments. Yeah, I can see this being a slippery slope this year.
Nice. Well, I'm very excited to join your pro clubs and play some football. However, what else? There's one particular game on your list I'm very excited to hear you talk about.
So we'll go for the one that Dan has got me dragged into. So side story as to how we got onto this is Dan was lecturing me for not doing my Microsoft reward points and how easy
Free
it is
money.
I know,
Free
and I
money.
have seen the error of my ways, and I've now got a nice dedicated 15-minute time window when I get up in the morning to load Fortnite up and then just sit and play it for 5 minutes to get 100 points. So one of the quests for one of the weekly tasks was travel 500 meters in the delightful little game that is Inside. So I'll load it up. I'll do my 500 meters. I can't imagine that takes particularly long to travel 500 meters in a game. And I done my 500 meters, and 35, 40 minutes later, I was still running in a straight line. I was like, oh, shit, this game has sort of taken me by storm. Beautiful game. Really like the art style of it. Love the... Could you call it stealth elements, kind of? You got a sneak
Kind of,
between... Just a brilliant game. Really fucked up. Really fucked up. I mean, some of the death sequences are fucking brutal. There was one part I was getting chased by a pack of dogs. Slowed down because there was a jump coming up, thinking I couldn't make the jump. Slowing down was a mistake and was quite promptly ripped to shreds by this pack of dogs. I was like, oh shit, this game took a turn for the worse. The first time I got caught, it was like tranquilizer darts getting shot into me. I was like, oh, I can see the non-pacifist or pacifist type idea, just try to round people up. And then the second time I got caught, I was shot about 8 times very promptly by a very large rifle, and blood was squirting everywhere. I was like, oh, this game took a bit of a turn for the dark.
So can I ask a quick question before you carry on? Is this the first time you played this?
Yes.
And how far are you? Have you finished it yet?
I've not finished it. I can't think of a good way to describe it. Basically, I'm in a warehouse and I've got a group of people, and when I run past the group of people, a dog starts chasing you at the back part of the map and comes round and tries to catch you. Yeah. So I'm at that part, and I'm trying to work out how you get past the dog, because it doesn't matter how fast I climb up the ledge to get to the jump, the dog catches me. But no, I like I said, I had only planned to literally load it up, run 500 meters, turn it back off, get my 25 Microsoft reward points or whatever it was. And yeah, so far it's grabbed me, and I can't seem to put it down whenever I've got a spare 5-10 minutes to jump into a game.
Definitely keep playing those.
Yeah, especially for the fact that it's on the cloud as well, so controller, iPad, away I go.
So easy. And when you die, you're literally almost straight back.
Yeah, pretty much exactly. Yeah, you don't go way back. There's maybe a certain part, if you've lifted a gate or you've broken down a door, you go back to that.
But the checkpoint system is...
Yeah, the stages between the checkpoints are perfect size that you still have to do a wee bit to get back to where you were, but it's not like, oh, fuck, now I've got 10 minutes, I need to get back to where I was.
Yeah, I think, as I said last week, it's almost like an expertly, perfectly crafted 2D puzzle platformer type thing. Like there's no wasted spaces. There's not like you're running for ages. Like, oh, I'm not doing anything. You're always doing something, and you're always progressing. And
there's always something going on in the background as well, which is quite cool.
Yeah, and it's fucking brilliant. I could see why a lot of people gave it their game of the year of 2016. Was it? Yeah, fucking absolutely tremendous.
Yeah, 2016.
And the other game is a game I've picked up to review. I can talk about it because it's 4th was when it was to stop getting played. But
you can read that by the end of 2023, no?
No. I've already started getting clips from it. So it's based on the Paris-Dakar race. It's Dakar Desert Rally. Holy shit. This game is nothing like what I first expected. had I watched all of the trailer, I might have been a wee bit more enlightened by what it was, but I just thought the graphics of it, the different terrains, all the different vehicles, the game to look at is stunning. It's right up there with Forza in regards to graphics. It's a beautiful game. The landscapes that you go through is amazing, but the flip side of the Forza comparison is do not play this game if you are a Forza Horizon main. The steering, the braking, the navigation, everything about it is you really need to be switched on when you're playing this. There's 3 different modes, there's 3 different difficulties you can play through, which is Sport, which is your traditional type of racer. 8 cars start on the start line, A to B, there's checkpoints, get there as fast as you can, game over. There is Professional, which is you have no waypoint. So you have to traverse the map using your co-pilot who will shout out instructions to you. There's your Sport, Professional, and Simulation. You've got like a little chart at the bottom right-hand side of your screen. And basically that tells you like you're heading. So you've got a compass at the top. You need to sort of point the car in that direction, drive, get the notification saying that you've hit the waypoint. The next waypoint will then come up. You need to then navigate to head to the next one. It is incredibly difficult to begin with. There is a steep learning curve if you want to jump in and play the Professional, and I've not even touched the Simulation yet because holy shit, that feels like a controller through a screen. But beautiful looking game, really fun to play. The landscapes are fantastic. Driving around in a big off-road truck, not just your standard sort of 4x4 Jeep, but a full-blown truck is fantastic. There's a day to night cycle in it as well. So if you go through a long enough area, you will go through it as to change. The weather system is fantastic. And again, unlike Horizon, I would say the proper Forza does it well. But once the weather starts changing, it affects your gameplay. So cars will take longer to brake, it's harder to turn. The sand, once it becomes wet, feels heavier. It's a brilliant game, and this is why I was saying earlier, obviously, if we're saying about the quality control for Saber doing Cyberpunk, and they've made a pig's ear of that, and then they produce a game like this, which is unbelievable so far.
Is it more of a simulation, like you're saying, or
yeah?
Not like an
there's
arcade
not a lot. There's not a lot of arcade to it. Like I say, if you play it on the sport mode, it's a very traditional racer. You start at a start line. There's 8-9 cars, however many cars there is, and you're basically going through the waypoints to get to the end of the level. So that's a bit arcadey, but it's a very, very sim heavy game, I would say.
So it looks. I'm watching the trailer. She's been talking, and I mean, I'm not a racing fan in the slightest, but it looks more interesting than some other things. Just like you said, because of the challenge. Like, yeah, interesting. So yeah,
I mean, there's loads of depth you can go in it. Like you can pick up with the Parry Dakar, because it is a continuous race day in, day out. Your car through the race will pick up damage, and then it's like there's a strategic element of it, and so this car's got X amount of damage and it'll affect the performance of the car X amount. Is it worth fixing the car but then giving yourself time penalties because you've had to do repairs, or is the damage not going to affect your car that much, so therefore you can get away with building a bigger lead doing another day's racing? Yeah. So they've got that sort of sim, not management type idea, but you still have to be careful in regards to what you're doing race to race.
Well, something a bit different, and we look forward to your review on xboxtavern.com in the next
week.
X amount of time.
Week.
Weeks.
Well,
when did I ask for it, Jay? Thursday? Friday?
Something like that.
You'll have it by Friday.
But before I go on holiday, it'd be nice. Anyway,
which holiday?
You never specified.
Speaking of reviews, you can head over to xboxtavern.com and you can find several reviews by some people's, including Bubba's review of Arcane, I think that's how you pronounce it, like a top-down 2D action game, which looks pretty funny. Given 8 flat 8. Said it was really good. And Jake reviewed Time on Frog Island, which he gave a 5.4. Not quite what I was expecting. A bit more laid back and simple than perhaps he was hoping for. But you can go read them now. There'll be plenty of more reviews, including, like I said, my No More Heroes review, as well as Ian's review of Session and Dan's review of what we talked about earlier on.
Serial Cleaners.
Serial Cleaners, thank you, on the site this week, as well as a few more ones that we've got lined up. So you can go check them out. However, let's talk about Game Pass, shall we? And Ross,
Yes.
tell me, things have come to Game Pass and things are coming to Game Pass.
Yes.
Tell me what they are.
First one we will go for this week is, I'm going to butcher his name, but I think it is actually, I'm overthinking it. Is it Evil?
That's it, Evil.
And which is also our Project Game Pass for the month. So this one there is coming to console and PC on October the 11th, and that is available day one to Game Pass. So it's coming directly in first time. I'm trying to get my list up because I've put it onto a different screen because I was trying to be fancy because Daniel likes his fanciness.
Why don't I?
Well, exactly. The other one that we've got is, everything's disappeared. What has Dan just done?
I've only got rid of the day and date stuff.
Oh, right. I was going to say that. My screen changed. I was like, crap. Next one we've got is Dyson Sphere Program, which looks pretty, just by the sort of artwork that was seen and some of the still shots, kind of up my street because it looks almost like a Civ Age of Empires type game. So that's coming to PC on October the 13th. The big one for the month, I think, is coming up, Scorn, which is probably one of the freakiest and weirdest looking games I think I've ever seen. This is the one where you
It's got some proper horror to it.
Yeah, you use other parts of the enemy's anatomy to basically get yourself through the flesh-covered levels. And that's coming to Cloud, PC, and Xbox Series X and S on October 14. And then, last but not least, the one that I think Jay will probably be most looking forward to, Plague Tale Requiem, coming Cloud, PC, and Xbox Series X and S on October 18th.
Yes, very much looking forward to. Cool. So, Ian, things that you leave in Game Pass, please.
I know. Sad times. Sad times. But unfortunately, we have a couple of games leaving us. And that is Blood Roots, Echo Generation, Into the Pit, Ring of Pain, Sable, and Game of the Year, The Good Life.
Fucking Game of the Year, my ass. Graham, let's move on quickly, shall we? Games of Gold. Tell me.
Yes. We have Windbound from October the 1st to the 31st. We have Double Kick Heroes, which is on there until October the 15th. And then we have Bomber Crew coming in from October the 16th to November the 15th.
Nice. Thank you very much. So if you've got Game Pass, you've got some good games. You've got Games of Gold, you've got some good games. And let's all play games and be nice to each other, shall we?
Let's
What
do it.
about
That'd be
that?
nice.
That'd be nice. However, that is the end of the show, as far as I'm concerned. Let's do this, shall we? Oh, Jesus Christ. Right. Thank you very much for listening. It's been a pleasure to entertain you once again with our wonderful podcast, which we record every weekend at Sunday, 8 p.m.
Yes.
on youtube.com/Xbox Tavern Official. You can find the reviews that I talked about earlier on xboxtavern.com. And for me, I've been at EnXan, and I've been joined by Graham,
At Grim Reaper.
Daniel,
At Chocolate 80.
Ross,
At Scottish Gruff.
and Ian.
At Nutty Way.
Thank you very much, and we shall see you next week. Have a wonderful
He's
week, everyone.
back, baby. Jamie, he's back.
Let me in!